What's going on, Swoopers? Welcome back to another episode of Swoop Luke. Finally, another win, 2 in a row. So let's run that intro, jump straight into it. Of course, just before we do jump straight into it, hit me up on Twitch. I'll be streaming this weekend. Collingwood, cross Grimsby Town, Swoop Luke. Jump on my Instagram, always updating with highlights, videos, which are pretty much highlights, pictures, news, and just content. So hit me up on that, at Swoop Luke, and TikTok while it's still there, at Swoop Luke. Anyway, let's just jump into this review. So we started this game under a heavy cloud already with the weather in Perth. You think going to Perth it would be sunny and beautiful and stuff, but it was pouring rain, and we actually made a late change, as you're obviously all aware. Mason Cox came out and John Noble came in, a running, speeding halfback for Cox, who doesn't do well in the wet, and to be honest, we don't do well in the wet in general, but playing at all in the wet, you know, saw what happened in that GWS game and then the previous GWS game, that prelim, so just doesn't work. So thankfully the coaches, you know, watched my reviews and previews, and they've taken Cox out and put John Noble in. So of course we know Josh Dacos and Jordan De Goey came back into the side. You know, De Goey after his indecent assault charges and then having to quarantine and stuff like that, so he was pretty much all the limelight was on him going into this game, if we're going to be honest. But also, Geelong are a really good attacking side, we're a really good defensive side, and Geelong are premiership contenders, so are we. And this was kind of like a battle between, you know, who's really got the cojones to take this season by the scruff of the neck, despite losses and stuff like that, or off-field or hubs, and, you know, really put a team to the sword. So we ended up keeping Geelong to their lowest score since 2001. So last week, after keeping Hawthorn to their lowest score under Alistair Clarkson and the lowest score since like the 60s or something, we did the same against Geelong, and it's amazing. I cannot talk about how good this, it's not even good, how amazingly awesome and spectacular and phenomenal and grouse and amazing this defense is. It is, even without Jeremy Howe, it's just
ooh la la.
Perfection. So that first quarter was a little bit neck and neck. We put 2 goals on. We did have a quick start, had a lot of the ball. Again, didn't put scoreboard pressure on. But then the second quarter came along. We kicked another couple of goals. They didn't kick a goal, so they kicked 1 goal for a half, Geelong, and we piled on a couple more. And then the third quarter was another one of those, you know, we kick 1 goal and the other team kind of gets back into it, kind of gives them a little bit of hope. They kicked the first in the last quarter, but we came back pretty much all thanks to De Goey's 5 amazingly insane goals. I'm going to go right off the bat. Honestly, absolutely loved Jordan De Goey's 5 goals. You know, it's hard to look at De Goey and, you know, what I'm looking at is just everything he does on the field. Off the field, I've already spoken my truth about that over on my Instagram, but this is purely football talk right now. And what he did on the field was incredible. 5 goals, you know, 5 of some of his best, you know, some of them were just drop punts and stuff like that, but, you know, his work rate was massive, 17 disposals, a tackle, a clearance, playing deep forward. Oh my God, we've been wanting this for so long. He's not a midfielder, Buckley, he's a deep forward, and that's exactly what we got. And look what happened, he kicks 5 goals. Sure, he's going to be out for 6 to 8 weeks because he, you know, broke his finger or ruptured a tendon, but he helped us beat Geelong in Perth, so, you know, props to him and props to the coaching panel. Adam Treloar absolutely dominated this game. This is his 3rd game back. 3 games in a row he's gathered over 30 disposals, more than anyone in this competition already. But, you know, yesterday was just something different, you know, 34 or so disposals, 18 of those were contested. He went at about 60% disposal efficiency in the wet, you know. He had 11 clearances. 11 clearances. Are you kidding me? 11 clearances?
Nice.
He's the cog that we were missing, you know. Essendon, he didn't really fire because it was his first game back. We play him against GWS, we win that game. We play him against the Tigers, we win that game. Such an important cog to our midfield, and it's just so good to have him back. Those are immense numbers. 600 metres gain nearly. Perfect. Another thing that I really loved was just Jack Crisp running off that halfback, hitting targets. He had 20 disposals at 95 disposal efficiency. So it's pouring rain in Perth. He has 20 disposals. He hits 19 of those 20 or 18 of those 20. That is ridiculously good stats. And he's gaining meters with those. He's not going backwards. He's having over 400 or so meters gained, setting up some guys. They put him through the midfield at one stage. Grundy had that perfect tap to him, and he set up a goal. And it was just, I love seeing Chris play. Obviously, we know that he hasn't missed a game since coming to the club from Brisbane, but love him off the half-back. He really bathed, I think it was on Myers. Is that how you say his name? Grian Myers? Excuse me if I got that wrong. But, and he just blanketed him all day. They chucked him into the midfield for a bit, in the centre square, got a couple of clearances, and I love that. I really like Crisp as a midfielder. I think he can be a very damaging weapon if we have the personnel to cover him off the half-back, which we did with Quaynor and John Noble. And the final thing that I liked, amongst all the other things, just picking my top 4, is that we look so good when we run off that half-back line and we play this attacking football, not that backwards kicking football. I know that sometimes you got to go backwards to go forwards. I get that. I get that philosophy. I get that mentality. But when you're attacking more than you are, with that defensive kicks, it just looks better. It's a bit more exciting, a bit more unpredictable. And with Quaynor in there, and John Noble was doing it a little bit yesterday as well, it's amazing what they bring, what these young kids bring to the table. And it just gets the whole team around. We're playing through the corridor instead of going down the wings. It gives our forwards a better chance, and I just love that. So look at that. We have a plan B in the wet. How crazy is that? We have a plan B in the wet. Amazing. Dislikes from this game. So the one thing I did dislike, of course, I say this every week, but until it is a positive, I'm always going to find this as a negative. It's just that we don't put teams to the sword when we should. We finished the game 8 goals, 9, and there were some easy shots that we could have converted, and shots that just went out on the full or just fell short and stuff like that. Especially in the wet against good sides. We saw Geelong nearly come back. We had to put teams to the sword early. In that third quarter, we ended up kicking 1 goal 4. So you convert 1 or 2 or more of those shots, and it gives Geelong, kind of no hope going into that last stanza, that last quarter. So put teams to the sword. That's always going to be on here until, like I said, it's a positive. Another thing I didn't like, which wasn't from the game itself, but Jordan De Goey's injury, now we're going to be without him for 6 to 8 weeks. People are saying, oh, but Pendle's played with a broken thumb or this and that. Like, yeah, that's Pendle's and that's, that guy and that's that guy. But, everyone's different. Hopefully we see him in 2 weeks. Hopefully we do. But if he's out for 6 to 8 weeks, we won't see him till finals. But so it's bittersweet. This game is bittersweet. Honestly, I'm one for always picking apart games and things that I really dislike and stuff. But there was nothing really to dislike that much about our style of gameplay or, something that someone did. Or I think it was an all-round good performance. We did lack a little bit in that third quarter, but we picked it up in the fourth. Besides not putting teams to the sword and that De Goey injury, I think we played really well. And, I'm just going to leave it at that. Let's have a positive video today. Special mentions this week. I already mentioned him, Crisp. Just absolutely every week he just keeps getting better. Josh Dacos is just, oh man. There was times last year where you go, I don't really know if he's going to make it in the team. There was a couple of people a couple of clubs that inquired about him. Apparently, we're never going to know that. But what he's brought to the team is just that finesse, that he's got his dad's sense of goal sense, which is just incredible, and he just keeps getting better every week. Last year was Callum Brown, this year it's Josh Dacos, and you just absolutely love to see it. Another shout out to Brodie Grundy, obviously did the majority of the ruck work, 46 hit-outs, played 90% of game time, and there were bits where we didn't have a ruck nominated, which is the dumbest rule, but anyway. Without Cox there, you'd think Ruffy would go in, but Grundy did his job really well, going up against 2 or 3 ruckmen at, one time, Radigalia, that other kid, and you know, Hawkins at sometimes in the forward line. But yeah, shout out to Grundy, he absolutely did really well. And also finally, Chris Mayne, 9 tackles. He is like an unsung hero. You don't hear a lot about him. You know, same goes for Jordan Roughhead in the back line. You don't hear much about Chris Mayne and what he does and stuff, but he's just like a silent assassin. Chris Mayne, the silent assassin. So I can't believe I'm going to say this, but the game was won because we adapted to the wet weather better than our opponent. And you're thinking, far out, Luke, have you been drinking or something? And yeah, I've been drinking, but not, you know, while I'm recording this video. But we did adapt very well to the wet weather, which is incredible. I don't know if it's because they were practicing more in the wet, or you know, not having Cox there kind of made us look a little bit better, looked less clumsy. But we just looked like we were playing with a dry ball, you know, at times. Of course, it was still, you know, fumbly and stuff like that, especially when it was dry and then all of a sudden it was rain, then it was dry again. But I think to provide that run down the corridor, especially, you know, hitting targets, all those clearances and stuff like that, and just taking the game on with that excitement in the rain, that's... it's something that we've been calling out for ages, and I'm glad that we've seen it yesterday. And now we know that we can keep doing it. We take on the Eagles next week, which is going to be a huge game. Hopefully we take on the Eagles next week. We could be in Queensland. Who the hell knows? But it's going to be huge. We are, you know, on track. I think we're the best team in the competition at the moment. Yes, I know we lost to GWS. I know we lost to Essendon. 2 games we shouldn't have lost. 2 games that we will win when we verse them next time. But I think we are the team to beat at the moment. And these next couple of weeks are going to be very telling. But 2-0 during hubs, which is awesome. We travelled very well interstate, Elliot Yo. Anyway, guys, that's been my review of this amazing win against, you know, Geelong, and it was just, again, mwah, chef kiss. But like, comment, subscribe, tell your family, tell your friends, tell your pets, and until next time, double shackers, swoop you all later. Twitch, if you want to see me. Are you kidding? Are you serious? Go away. Come on. And phenomenal. And then the third, and then, you know. Whoops.